From the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8.
Now, the latest news.
Kylie Conway has the latest news. The top headlines. News you can use.
Please stand by.
Sponsored by LCS Heating and Cooling. Now, here's Wish TV's Kylie Conway.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is the News 8 Daily 8 for Thursday, June 3rd. Scattered showers will stick around for your Thursday. Not bad, not a total washout like yesterday, but pretty nice watering. We're going to warm up nicely, too, with temps reaching the mid-70s to low 80s. And today, the family marks a decade of despair. It's now been 10 years since IU student Lauren Spierer went missing. This morning, Bloomington police are again asking for anyone with information to come forward. Over the last 3 to 4 years, investigators have received more than 800 tips and executed 10 search warrants. A flyer released by the Bloomington Police Department says that they are asking people to speak up because anything small could be big. Police are making it clear this is not a cold case. There has always been something to follow up on. Spierer vanished on June 3rd of 2011 after a night out with some friends at a bar in Bloomington. Police said she was last seen leaving a friend's place near 11th and College. They said she left alone and was walking back to her apartment when something happened. Investigators say a male friend reported her missing. Spierer's parents tried to sue the two men that were with her daughter on the night she disappeared. The lower court and appeals court decided the Spierers could not provide sufficient evidence to support their claims that they did not see her to her apartment safely. Large-scale searches were conducted by law enforcement, national search organizations, and volunteers from the community. Investigators have done thousands of interviews and pulled surveillance video.
Over the course of the last 10 years, the Bloomington Police Department has received thousands of tips, interviewed hundreds of people, obtained a multitude of court orders, and executed innumerable search warrants in Bloomington and elsewhere.
IU released a short statement saying, "We remember Lauren and her family on this difficult day. The Indiana University family continues to hope for answers in this case." Bloomington police have worked with several law enforcement agencies over the past 10 years in the investigation, but continue to work closely, mostly with the FBI. If you know anything about Lauren's disappearance, you're asked to contact the Bloomington Police Department. And this morning, we're learning COVID-19 rules for summer camps and summer school in Marion County. The health department is unveiling the latest protocols for the City County Council to review Monday. Children and teachers who are fully vaccinated would not have to wear masks or maintain social distance. The public health order would also ease restrictions for public pools, golf courses, and campgrounds. Leaders say many more people still need the shot.
Just over 1/3 of our county's residents are vaccinated. And we need to get that number higher.
Mayor Hogshead says the next goal is to have 50% of people vaccinated by 4th of July. President Biden wants everyone to be part of an all-of-America sprint to fight the coronavirus. He's calling this a national month of action. As we've talked about, the Biden administration hopes to have 70% of adults with at least one COVID-19 shot by July 4th. Biden says freedom from the pandemic is at stake.
So we can declare our independence from COVID-19 and free ourselves from the grip it has held over us, our lives, for the better part of a year. Each of you has the power to help us gain this freedom as a nation.
As of this morning, nearly 63% of American adults have received at least one dose. And during the month of action, the Biden administration is laying out initiatives trying to boost vaccination numbers. Child care providers, including KinderCare and Bright Horizons, will offer free child care for parents getting their shot or recovering from their shot. And then starting next week, thousands of pharmacies like CVS and Walgreens will stay open late every Friday so people will have more opportunities to go and get it. Anheuser-Busch also wants America to reach the president's goal. The beer company says it'll buy a round of beer for every American who's over 21 if the July 4th goal is met. And now a celebration of a group's effort and one teen's bravery in getting the COVID-19 vaccine. IU Health says 17-year-old Luke was terrified to get his first shot. The hospital network prepared a reward for him after his second dose. Workers gave him a package of Indiana University swag, a shirt, a hat, a flag. He also got a basketball signed by the women's basketball team. Luke's mom says they got through both appointments thanks to one nurse.
The person that helped my son get through his first COVID shot is always going to be a very important part of our lives. I just can tell that already. We're going to be staying in touch.
I knew the first day that I had to be here for a second one, just so he could be familiar with someone. But there's that one person that touches you that you feel like there's a special place. And to me, that's him.
Luke is autistic and has a medical condition that makes things like a simple needle poke more painful than the average person. Marion County is setting up a one-day 9-language push to get more people vaccinated. It's scheduled for Saturday. Organizers say some 65 bilingual volunteers will take calls and answer questions in Spanish, Arabic, Swahili, Hakachin, Burmese, Mandarin, Yoruba, French, and English. The city hosted a similar hotline for Spanish speakers earlier this year. During that event, more than 800 people registered to get their shot. Leaders hope to teach more people about the vaccine and encourage them to get it.
These individuals don't have access to media and news in their native language. Therefore, the information that they're getting from their Facebook, from their WhatsApps, from everything else might not be factual. We want to make sure that they have access to somebody who's trustworthy.
The vaccination hotline runs Saturday from 9 to 5. The number to call is 317-327-2100. Today, Kroger is hosting a hiring fair at the Hamilton County Fairgrounds. It runs until 4:30 this afternoon. Kroger says it's looking to fill positions for all shifts, but has the greatest need for night grocery clerks and pickup service clerks. Both full-time and part-time positions are available. The FBI's Indianapolis office is warning people to be aware of an unemployment scheme. Agents say people are getting texts from someone claiming to be the Department of Workforce Development. The text then asks you to click on a link in the message. The FBI says that link can allow scammers to snag your personal information. If you get a message like this, do not click that link. The FBI says more than $120,000 in actual unemployment benefits have now been stolen from people in Indiana through phone and text scams like this. And we do expect to learn more information soon about a body found in a pond in Fishers. Police say they'll give an update today. Investigators say someone spotted the body in a retention pond at Allisonville Road and Easy Street around noon yesterday, and divers pulled it out. Authorities haven't said yet if it was a man or a woman or if they think the person is the victim of a crime. And today in Indianapolis, a new way to take on violence in the city. We are in another unusually violent year, and just this morning, police confirmed that 3 people walked into local hospitals with gunshot wounds. 1 person was shot to death on the west side. Today, IMPD and the Indianapolis Housing Agency are hosting what they call a grill and chill block party with free food, activities, and a surprise celebrity guest. It's happening at Blackburn Terrace apartment complex near 30th and Keystone. Organizers say it's a neighborhood that's dealing with an increase in shootings. It's at 3:30 this afternoon, rain or shine. And cyber attacks affected public transportation in Massachusetts and New York. Massachusetts Steamship Authority tweeted yesterday saying it was a target of a ransomware attack earlier in the day. The cyber attack affected ferry service to Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket, and Woods Hole. New York's Metropolitan Transportation Authority confirms it was also hacked. The MTA announced yesterday that it received an alert from the FBI saying 3 of its 18 computer systems were at risk. Transit is up and running through both agencies today. And according to the New York Times, an internal document cites possible links to China in the New York attack.
Mr. President, will you retaliate against Russia for this latest ransomware attack?
We're looking closely at that issue.
The FBI says Russia is behind the cyber attack that shut down 9 U.S. beef processing plants. You just heard there from President Biden. In a statement, the FBI says 2 groups are responsible. The FBI announced it is working diligently to bring the threat actors to justice. And according to the White House, President Biden will address the situation at his next meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Cybersecurity experts say hackers are using the same tricks they used to access systems for the Colonial Pipeline, Microsoft, and the Pentagon.
It's an incredibly personal and disruptive thing to say, well, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get gas to go to work. I don't know if I'm going to be able to bring back some of the food that I need for my family.
President Biden signed an executive order last month aimed at strengthening cybersecurity. It's focused mostly on the federal government and encourages agencies to share information. Some cybersecurity experts say companies need to do a better job at monitoring and protecting their own data. The Indy Fuel are in the playoffs. The team clinched a berth win last night at 5-1 win over Kansas City. The first postseason game is not until next week, but the coach says the quality is already there.
Well, we've been playing playoff hockey for a month. We started the season really, really well. And then we had a wobble, and our wobble was a lot longer than it should have been. But through that, we learned a lot about ourselves. We learned how we had to play, how we had to compete.
The Fuel will play Game 1 of their first round series at home next Tuesday. Tickets are already on sale. And today there is a tribute to Vietnam veterans. About 30 firefighters and other volunteers worked through the rain yesterday in Franklin to set up the moving monument known as the Wall That Heals. The replica of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial is open to the public right now at the Johnson County Fairgrounds. The Wall That Heals is a 375-foot replica of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C. It opened at midnight, and it is free for people to come see 24 hours a day until 2 o'clock Sunday afternoon. Famed horse trainer Bob Baffert is barred from entering any horses into the Kentucky Derby for the next 2 years. Churchill Downs suspended Baffert yesterday. Additional testing shows Derby winner Medina Spirit had more than double the allowable amount of a steroid in its system. Baffert's attorney says the failed tests were caused by a topical ointment for a skin rash and not an injectable steroid. It will now be up to the Kentucky Horse Racing Commission to decide if Medina Spirit's Derby victory will be overturned. If that happens, Mandaloun will be declared the winner. 2 kids are facing charges in Florida after the county sheriff's office says they opened fire on deputies. The office says it happened Tuesday night in Volusia County, that's just north of Orlando. According to the sheriff, a 12-year-old boy and a 14-year-old girl broke into a home and grabbed guns from inside. Then say the deputies started firing shots at them. According to the sheriff's office, the girl was shot and hurt badly. No one else was hurt. The president and the top Republican negotiator on infrastructure plan to meet again to try to find compromise. Senator Shelley Moore Capito spent about an hour with Biden. The White House described the conversation as constructive and frank. The administration is up against a self-imposed deadline of Monday to rough out a plan that both sides will support. They remain divided over how much to spend, where to spend it, and where to find the money.
Should we expect President Biden to give her any kind of deadline for a major breakthrough on these talks to happen?
I wouldn't expect this meeting to be an exchange of paper. It would be more of a discussion.
Capito's office says she's encouraged by the continuing negotiations. Several Democrats are urging the president to move on with his own version if there are no major breakthroughs this week. It is the end of an era for college basketball, specifically at Duke University. Coach Mike Krzyzewski announced he is retiring after next season. At 74, Coach K is the winningest coach in Division I men's basketball history. He's known for leading the Blue Devils to 5 national championships and more than 1,000 wins. Coach K took the job at Duke in 1990. He started his coaching career at West Point, where he'd played himself under Bob Knight. Duke's associate, John Shire, is slated to take the head coach position. And now to business headlines. Realtor.com says home buyers should move quickly in Elkhart, Indiana. Homes are selling there, the 8th fastest in the nation. On the other hand, Terre Haute had one of the slowest home sales numbers. New jobless claims likely fell for a 5th consecutive week to reach a new 14-month low. 388,000 filings are expected versus 406,000 last week. If the number comes in as expected, that would be the first time the number is below 400,000 since March of 2020. New claims were averaging just over 200,000 per week through 2019. And it's a good time to be a vaccinated teen in the job market. Teenagers are now employed at levels that haven't been seen before the financial crisis, sent unemployment soaring more than a decade ago. And signs point to an even bigger teen job boom this summer. Pay in both retail and tourism have jumped, and companies have added perks like free food and amusement park passes for new employees. Movie theater chain AMC Entertainment stock has rallied 3,300% this year. That means the chain is now worth $30 billion. That's more than Best Buy, Tyson Foods, and Nokia. AMC's CEO personal wealth has soared as Reddit traders push up the stock price. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
The News 8 Daily 8 is sponsored by LCS Heating and Cooling. Be sure to like and subscribe to this podcast, The News 8 Daily 8 with Kylie Conway. And be sure to discover even more great podcasts now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.